Hello everyone, this is the fourth part of our Firebase authentication app that we are building, and I will try to complete the app in this video. So we are done with the auth block and registration block. Today we will try to implement the login block. So let's get started. And in the meantime, if you do like what you are seeing from my video, then please do subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. Login page is pretty much similar to the registration page. So just start. First of all, we need two text editing controller, as we have two text field here. And another one for password. Now in the text field, let's add those controller. Now when the user click on this sign up login button, we want to call the we want to add event to the login block. So let's have an instance here for now. Login block, and then initialize it here. So now when the user click on this button, you want to add event to that login block. So for that, login block dot add, what is the event? Let's see. Single event, login button pressed event. So let's add it. Oops. And here we need the email and the password. So let's add the email and password. Email from the email controller dot text, and password from the password controller. That's all. So now we will add now we have added event to the login block. Now time to check the state of this event, whether the login is successful or not. So for that, let's add another child here in the column. That will be a block builder. Specify the block and the event. And then inside the builder, we need context and the state. Now let's check all the possible states here. What's wrong here? So now here we are checking the states of the login block, and we will return appropriate UI based on the state. So we have our built initial UI, where we will return simply a text widget, and then the loading UI, which will return a circular progress indicator, and a failure UI with a failure message in a text widget. So now let's return those UI. If the login initial state is the state, then we return build initial UI, return loading UI, and if it is failure, then return failure UI with a message in the parameter. So what about the login success state? We simply want to navigate user to the home page if the login is successful, but then again we need to return a widget from here. So I will return, otherwise we will get error. So for that I'll return an empty container. Okay, now to navigate the user to the second home page, we need to listen to the state. So for that we have another widget from BLoC package, which is BLoC listener. And just like BLoC builder, I need to specify the BLoC and state here. So now let's listen to the state. We want to listen to this success state. So check it here. If state is login success state, then we want to navigate the user to the home page. I have created a method for that. Navigate to home page. It will take the context and the user from the state. That's all. That's all about listening the BLoC and building widget based on the states. Now look here, we are using the login block and we are initializing it here, but we'll create an error if we run this app in this time. I showed it in the previous video as well, because this block provider dot of context, this context doesn't contain an instance of the login block. That's why we will get an error. So for that we need to create another stateless widget. I can name it as login page parent, and then here we need to provide the block using this block provider widget. Create context and then return the login block, and as a child of this widget, let's use the login page. That's all. So let's check one more thing here. This is the home page, and this is the code to navigate to the home page, and this is the code to navigate to the sign up page. But remember, if you remember from the previous video, we simply wrapped this sign up page in another widget just for this same reason, block provider, to provide the block. So just return the sign up page parent, and then now our login block is ready, and this implementation is ready. Now only thing remaining is the home page. So open up the home page file. Home page, here is only a single event, which is to log out the user. I can I can use this logout event in the auth block. But remember, in the real application, you might have many other things in the home page apart from the logout. So for that, I have created a separate block for the home page itself. Otherwise, you can use this event in the auth block as well. So here we have the action icon on the app bar. We want to sign out our user when we click on this sign out button. This is simply a close icon here. So similar to the sign up page and sign up block and other block, we need to have an instance of the block here. So for that, let's have an instance of the block. It has a dependency on the Firebase user. Homepage block, and initialize it here. Block provider dot off. So when the user click on this event, this should click on this button, this should add an event to the block, and the event is, let's see what was the event here. Logout button pressed event. That's all about logging out from the home page. Now we need to listen to the block. I mean, what will be the state and what will be rendered based on the states. So for that, we have simply a column here in the body, and then we have a text widget simply returning simply showing the text user email, and then we can listen here. Just similar to the previous blocks. Block builder, specify the block and the state. Now check the states here. If state is logout initial, we will simply return an empty container here. Otherwise, we will get an error. And then if it is success, state is logout success, then we should navigate to the navigation part will be done from the block listener. We need to return something from the builder function, so just return another empty container here. Now to navigate the user, we need to use another widget, which is block listener. Specify the block, and the state. So if the state is logout success, Then you want to navigate to the sign up page. So call that method from here, navigate to sign up page. And this is incomplete. We need to return the sign up page from here. So let's return sign up page. Remember, return the parent instead of the sign up page. I already told you the reason. So that's all about the home page, and pretty much similar to the sign up page and the login page, we need to wrap it in another stateless widget just to provide the BLoC appropriately. We can name it as homepage parent and use the BLoC provider here. Now we need to provide the user here. So how can we get the user? So for that we need to create a dependency here on the Firebase user and this user, and then make it required in the constructor. We need to import the meta to use the required annotation here. Now we are good to go. We are pretty much good to go. So what else do we need? Let me check. So our app is almost ready, but now remember we are returning home page from the other pages, like from sign up page. Here we need to return the home page parent instead of the home page. I already have told you the reason. And similar here as well, in the login page you need to return the home page parent. Previously we are returning the home page, and then in the main.dart file, when we are checking the state, similar here, we need to return the home page parent. Now I hope we are ready to run the app. So let's run the app. So here our app up and running. Now let's register an user. As the state is unauthenticated, it has returned the sign up page. Now let's register a random user here. The random email and random password, and click on the sign up button. Should return at loading indicator, and then the home page. Here you can see this is our home page. Now as expected, here the email is being displayed in the text view. Now this is the button to log out our user. Now click on it and we are simply logged out. Now let's try to log in now. Click on the login now button and we are in the login page, and use the email. Try to log in with the wrong password first. Here is the exception message, and then with the correct password. Here we go. We are getting the expected result. So let's log out again once again, and then here we have a back icon at the top bar, and also we are able to click on the back button of the mobile. So you should not give this option to the user. So let's remove those. So for that, open up the sign up page first. To remove the back icon at the top bar, at the app bar, use automatically imply leading false. And also we want to disable the back button of the mobile phone. So for that, let's use another widget, which is will pop scope. Will pop scope. This is the widget, and then on will pop should return false. And simply following this procedure in all the other pages, in the login page and home page, we can make the back button in the app bar unvisible, and now we can also disable the back button in the mobile. So that's all about the app. We have successfully implemented the BLoC pattern for Firebase authentication. That's all from this video. Let's have a brief recap once again. Now remember one thing I want to tell you. If you look at the BLoC file here, in every blocks we are using the repository and we are initializing it inside the constructor, but in this way we are creating several instances of the user repository, which I don't think really good. So what we could do, we could make it dependable here. We could add a dependency here so that we can return the user repository from the root, I mean from here. But for simplicity, I have not done it here, just for simplicity. But we should make it we should add the dependency inside the constructor rather than initializing it inside the constructor. So I hope you like this video. That's all about implementing the BLoC pattern for Firebase authentication. So if you do like what you saw, please do subscribe to my channel. And this is the fourth video and the final video of the app. So make sure to watch the previous videos. I'll put the link in the description. And what else? Also, I'll put the source code link in the description. So that's all for today. Have a good day, and please do subscribe to my channel.